The sun is a hammer and the dust is the anvil. Between them the clan is being forged into bone and memory. There are 14 of them left. They're dust-minus walkers, and their skin is the color of the cracked earth they tread. Hunger is a constant presence. A 15th member of the clan, silent and hollow. It gnaws from within, turning muscle to string and thought to a dull-aching pulse. They're bipedemolist, the great evolutionary gamble of their hominid history that freed their hands. Feels like a cruel joke in this endless expanse. It serves only to lift their faces higher, to better feel the merciless heat and see the shimmering emptiness that promises nothing. This is prehistoric life stripped of all romance. The small things they used to hunt, the scuttling lizards, the burrowing mammals, are gone, baked into the clay or fled to lands with water. The roots they once dug for are shriveled to dust. Then the earth begins to tremble. It is not the shudder of a quake, but a deep rhythmic drumming that travels through the soles of their feet and into the base of their skulls. The clan freezes, their forms like withered statues. On the horizon, a line of impossible shapes resolves out of the heat haze. They are not animals. They are a moving mountain range, Brachiosaurus. The ground groans under the weight of the herd as the colossal megafauna stride into the valley. Their long necks swaying like the master phantom ships. Their passage is an event of geological scale, kicking up clouds of ancient dust that momentarily blot out the hateful sun. The clan, a small gathering of Australopithecus, can only watch in cowed silence. These are the true masters of this world. Being so immense that the dust-minus walkers' struggle for survival was less than an inconvenience to them. They are simply part of the terrain over which these gods of flesh and bone tread. The herd moves toward the valley's only remaining signs of life, clusters of high-canopy trees, their tenacious roots sunk deep into some hidden water source. The trees are laden with clusters of hard-shell, nutrient-rich fruit, a bounty of life hanging 30 feet above the ground, impossibly out of reach. The clan has watched these fruits ripen and wither for seasons, a feast for the eyes and a torment for the soul. The Brachiosaurus reached them without effort. A great head, small for its body but still larger than a full-grown hominid, dips down, a leathery mouth, indifferent and slow, strips a branch bare in seconds. The sound of chewing is like rock grinding on rock for the dust-minus walkers. Watching this is a unique form of torture. It is watching salvation being devoured by a force of nature that doesn't even know they exist. What if dinosaurs were still alive? The question is meaningless. They are, and their existence is a suffocating certainty. What are the younger males? Tail sinks to his haunches, his gaze fixed not on the fruit, but on the creature itself. He watches the slow, methodical rhythm of its breath. He sees the landscape of its hide, a terrain of deep crevices, horny scales, and wrinkled folds. He sees a mountain, but for the first time, he sees a path. An idea, terrifying and sacrilegious, begins to form behind his sun-scorched eyes. He looks at the others, their faces masks of despair. He knows they are thinking of the end. He is thinking of the climb. The silence that follows K-less thought is heavier than the heat. He speaks the ideal aloud, his voice a dry rasp. Climb. The word hangs in the air, an absurdity. They are dust-minus walkers, not sky-minus dancers. The others look at him as if he has been touched by the sun, his mind cooked in his skull. To them the great beasts are living features of the landscape, as unassailable as a cliff face and far more dangerous. But the clan's eldest matriarch, Elora, whose face is a roadmap of droughts and famines, looks from Kale to the lethargic form of a child whose breath is a shallow flutter. She gives a slow, deliberate nod. The dust is a patient killer. A fall is a quick one. Her gesture is all the permission needed. It is the grim logic of a species with no other choices. This is a turning point. A moment where the desperate calculations of survival skills outweigh instinctual and fear. A quiet, unrecorded fulcrum in human evolution. Thus begins the great work. The clan becomes a single organism geared toward a singular, mad purpose. They are creating a new generation of ancient tools, not from stone, but from the remnants of giants. From a sun-minus bleached skeleton field miles away, they salvaged the horn of a long-minus dead triceratops, a relic of some ancient titanic struggle. For days, the sharpest flint chips are used to scrape and shape it, its keratin-OUS material slowly yielding into a crude but effective hook. This is the birth of a new primitive technology, an osteodontokeratic key forged to unlock the bounty of the living mountains. Others work with sinew, scavenged from a fresh kill they bravely stole from a lone scavenger. They twist the fibers, braiding them into a rope stronger than any vine, a lifeline of flesh and hope. It is a slow, painstaking process, a testament to the stubborn intelligence of early humans refusing to accept their fate. Their plan requires more than tools. It requires knowledge. The 3 cycles of the sun. They do not approach. They watch. They study the herd dynamics, the subtle language of the colossal beasts. They learn the slow rolling gait of the old bull at the edge of the herd, the one with a hide like a cracked riverbed and a low rumbling breath. They map the paths on its flank, the crevices and bony protrusions that could serve as handholds. They are not merely planning to climb a creature, they are charting a continent of flesh. When the time comes, it is Kale who carries the horn and the rope. He is the architect of this madness. He must be the first to test it. The others create a diversion, a small controlled grass fire whose smoke drifts on the wind, drawing the attention of the main herd. The old bull, placid and slow to react, continues its meal, momentarily isolated. Kale's approach is a prayer whispered to the dust. The ground shakes with each footfall of the beast. The air smells of sun-baked skin and vegetation. He swings the hook. The first throw clatters uselessly against the thick hide. The second catches, biting into a thick fold of skin above the massive forearm. He pulls, testing the hold. It is solid. Then he begins to climb. The world shifts from a horizontal plane to a vertical one. The hide is warm, a living wall that breathes in a rhythm that feels like the turning of the world itself. Hand over hand, he pulls himself up the sinew rope. Below, his clan is a collection of tiny upturned faces. He feels the drumming of the colossal heart through the soles of his feet. He is an ant scaling a god, and for a terrifying, exhilarating moment, the dust is far, far below him. Kale's descent is more treacherous than the climb, but his arms are laden with a bounty that makes the risk fade into irrelevance. He brings down a dozen coral fruits, their rough shells protecting a dense water-minus rich pulp. The clan gathers, and for the first time in a season, they share food that is not stringy root or scavenged marrow. The taste is a revelation, an explosion of life in their parched mouths. They eat slowly, with a reverence reserved for gods. The act is a communion, a shared victory against the slow grinding death of the desert. Their success is not a singular event. It is the invention of a new way of life. They are no longer the dust-minus walkers. They are the sky-minus foragers. Their existence is now entwined with the great herd, a terrifying form of symbiosis where their survival hangs by a thread of sinew from the flank of a moving mountain. This new life follows a brutal rhythm. They follow the herd across the plains of this ancient earth, their lives dictated by the giant search for sustenance. Each day, 2 or 3 of the clan's youngest and most agile members make the ascent, harvest the fruit, and descend before the herd moves on. They have created their own unique form of niche partitioning, finding a foothold in an ecosystem that had no place for them. From their perilous perches, the world of prehistoric animals unfolds below. A world that was once their prison now looks like a map of their own ingenuity. But the herd is a mobile island of life, and such islands always attract predators. One afternoon, the wind shifts, and it carries a new scent. It is not the smell of dust or sun-baked hide. It is the coppery metallic smell of fresh blood. The Brachiosaurus grow agitated, their low rumbles turning into anxious groans. From a line of rock formations, a new terror emerges. It is an Allosaurus, a predator king built of muscle and teeth, its powerful legs carrying it with a terrible loping grace. It is not as large as a Tyrannosaurus rex, but it is faster, and it is a specialist in hunting sauropods. Its target is a juvenile Brachiosaurus, slimping at the edge of the herd. On the flank of that very same juvenile, clinging to a sinew rope, is Kayle's younger sister, Lyra. The attack is an explosion of violence. The Anisaurus launches itself forward, its massive jaw gaping. The herd panics. A stampede of flesh that makes the very ground heave. Lyra screams as the animal she is on stumbles and cries out. She is tossed about like a rag doll, her grip failing, on the ground. Kale watches, frozen by a primal fear that eclipses all thought. But Lyra, the old matriarch, does not freeze. In an act of pure selfless instinct, she smashes a heavy stone and hurls it at the predator's head. It is a pebble against a mountain. The stone glances off the Allosaurus's thick skull, but the unexpected sting and the small defiant figure on the ground are enough. The predator turns its head, its cold reptilian eye fixing on Lyra for a single terrifying second. That second is all Kale needs. He sprints, screaming, drawing its attention as Lyra scrambles back to a secure hold. The predator, its hunt on the juvenile momentarily disrupted, gives a frustrated roar and turns its attention back to the easier prey. Lyra's sacrifice bought seconds, Kayle's courage bought a life. The clan has found its food, but they have also found their devil's bargain. They have traded the certainty of starvation for the possibility of a sudden violent end. Caught in the eternal dinosaur battle between the eaters and the eaten. The dust minus walkers, the sky minus foragers. Their story is not etched in stone tablets or painted on cave walls. It is written in the bone minus deep memory of our species. Their mad ascent was more than a hunt. It was a redefinition of the possible. Staring at a problem of gargantuan scale, these human ancestors did not seek a stronger spear. They devised a new path, a vertical one. They looked upon the indifferent gods of their world and refused to remain crushed beneath their feet. Instead, they chose to ride on their shoulders. This is the quiet genius that the dry language of paleontology can never fully capture. The moment a desperate gamble becomes a strategy, the instant a tool of horn and sinew transcends its function and becomes a symbol of defiance. They traded the ground for the sky, accepting a life of constant heart minus stopping peril for a chance to endure. Their struggle is the blueprint for every audacious leap our kind has ever made. What is the true genesis of human courage? Is it found in the bared teeth and the war cry, in the strength to fight a monster head minus on? Or is it born in the quiet, desperate moment when a creature with no claws, no fangs, and no armor looks at a living mountain and thinks not of fear, but of how to begin the climb? The chronicle is written in scars. Listen closely. But on the far shores, where the great sea foams against black sand, a different kind of intelligence is rising from the depths.